Fight on, family. Preston's Paradise back at it again with another preview, man. Our USC Trojans are back on the road once again, and this time it is 100% a do or die scenario, man. USC trying to keep the playoff hopes alive, right? Big time conference game on the road at night. Everybody's pulling out all the stops, man. They're doing a blackout. They're doing ceremonies. People want to rush the field in hopes of another USC loss on the road, but I don't think it's happening this Saturday, man. USC, Nebraska. This is a preview. Let's get into it. All right, I'm going to start with the Nebraska defense, which oddly enough at times has mirrored what we've seen here at USC with the inability to stop the run. They are allowing their opponents to, average 168 yards a game on the ground, 5.1 yards per carry. So this is a team that struggled, throughout the entire season of stopping the run. I think that is a positive for USC going into this game. This is a defense, that's going to try to do multiple things, multiple fronts. Will play man, will play zone, have some DBs that are fairly solid. Obviously, Sierra Wright, former, Bronny James out of Space Jam, former USC Trojan defensive back, has now been at Nebraska, I think, for 2 seasons now. So he's back there. Andrew Marshall is going to be their top corner, number 10. He has 20 tackles on the season, 1 pass defense. And then they got some solid linebackers, man. I think Javin Wright, their leading tackler, number 33, has 52 tackles on the season, half a sacks. But in showing, this team's inability to stop the run, 3 out of their top 4 tacklers on this team are defensive backs, right? That clearly indicates that, those guys are making tackles at the second level, deep in the defensive backfield, and they haven't been able to stop the run. And really, when I look at the defensive front, I was watching them against Nebraska, watching them against Michigan. They seem to be a little light in their bridges, not the biggest defensive front on that side, and only have 12 sacks on the season. So not necessarily really getting after the quarterback in a crazy way. I have a lot of faith in our offensive line in this game. I think obviously Elijah Page will be back in there at the left tackle position. We'll kind of see how things sort out around him. But I'm feeling very confident about how we're going to be able to protect as well as run the ball. And get the ball to our playmakers outside, which I believe we have, one of the best, if not the best, wide receiver in the country. Probably 2 of the top 10, 2 of the top wide receivers when you talk about Jacoby Lane, Mekhi Lemon, and obviously Tanuk Hines, man, has looked great this year, his freshman season as well. So excited about what our offense can do on the road against Nebraska. I also, have to account that we haven't been as explosive on the road as we have been at home offensively. And we're still missing, a Wayman Jordan. We're still missing the Eli Sanders. But King Miller and Brian Jackson, man, I want to see Brian Jackson. I think Brian Jackson is finally going to be fully healthy at this point. Would like to see him get a lot more action, a lot more carries in this game come Saturday night. And I still got a lot of faith in King Miller, but I think utilizing both those guys will, give us a better opportunity. Utilizing Jackson more will give us a lot more opportunity of, doing well against their defense, who hasn't been able to stop the run. And another thing is, watching that Notre Dame game and a few different scenarios throughout this season, Jaden Mava has had green grass and the ability to use his legs to pick up, nice chunks of yardage. And I feel like at times he's kind of shied away from that, either forcing the ball downfield, making a bad throw, or, trying to force the ball downfield and it's just being an incompletion, or, maybe an intentional grounding at times, or throwing the ball out of bounds. So, man, I'd like to see him use his legs when, those opportunities come up in this game. All right, now Nebraska on offense, like to do a lot of RPO stuff, man, but their major factor in this game and the major priority for USC football, the defensive line, the entire defense, is once again going to be stopping the run, right? Can we stop the run? And can we stop Emmett Johnson? Can we stop Williams? Can we stop Yves? Whoever Nebraska has in there at the running back spot. But it's going to be primarily Emmett Johnson. 137 yards in the season, 9 touchdowns, averaging 5.7 yards a carry, and averaging 104 yards per carry, man. I think he is top 5 in yards, total yards throughout the entire season. He's number 2 right now, I believe, in most yards in the Big Ten, right below Justin Haynes. And yeah, man, this is a huge priority. We got to stop the run. Are we going to be able to do it? I don't know. We just have to wait and see, man. I think at this point, I can't make excuses for this defensive line. I can't make excuses for this defense. Our best, tool towards stopping the run may just be our ability to score points as an offense against any of these teams that we're going to have to face in the future. Because Iowa's going to want to run the ball. UCLA is going to want to run the ball. Nebraska's going to want to run the ball. And Northwestern is actually going to want to run the ball as well. These are all going to be, heavy running, offenses. So we're going to have to wait and see. I sure hope we're able to stop the run, but it's not something that we've really seen this team and this defense consistently do. So guys got to pop out and show up. At the quarterback spot, Dylan Raiola, obviously, coming into his sophomore season, has kind of teetered at times, has looked good at times, hasn't looked good at times. 17 touchdowns and 6 interceptions on the season. He also is a guy that has been sacked 26 times on the year. 72% completion rating, and his protection has been iffy. It's been very inconsistent. So will we be able to get after the quarterback? I would hope, but to be honest, his defensive line hasn't met the expectations that I set out for them going into this season. And it's just reality, man. I mean, people, kicked and screamed when I talked about Braylon Shelby, being one of the starting defensive ends on this team. He's a guy, tied for the most sacks on this team right now. Had that big play in the Notre Dame game. He's a guy that I believe, has kind of exceeded or kind of lived up to some of the expectations that I've had for him. But I obviously had a little bit higher expectations for him, actually, honestly. But, we've done better at getting to the quarterback than we did last season. But it should be... It's not as good as I thought we would be at getting to the quarterback prior to coming into the season. So hopefully we could do it. I definitely think this is an offensive line that we should be able to do it against, but only time will tell, and we're going to have to see how these guys perform on the road Saturday night, right? And they like to do the RPO stuff, man. So they're gonna want to get the ball to the running backs. As far as their guys outside, you got Ja'Cory Barney, Isaiah Hunter. They're good, solid receivers, quick, and the tight end, Lindenmeyer also. They got good tight ends. I like the tight end play. The thing about these guys is they do not throw the ball down the field. They're not going to really stretch the ball down the field with these receivers. I believe Dylan Raiola, his average, depth of target is like 7 yards. So he's not going to be a guy that's really chucking the ball down the field 25, 30 yards, and these guys making big explosive catches down the field. They like to get that yards after catch, and these guys could do it. I mean, they got some speed there. But primarily, man, it's just going to be about stopping the run. Consistent defensive back play, which I was very pleased with in the Notre Dame game. I mean, I think those defensive backs, DeCarlos Nicholson, Marcellus Williams, they really played very consistent. I think what's going to be important as well, just like we saw a couple weeks ago against Notre Dame, is when running the ball, you got to notice that, they're not throwing to the receivers. So don't let those receivers block you. Try to get off those blocks downfield, make a tackle if you can on a running back if we're not able to stop the run. I think that was the only, kind of spot where the DBs kind of struggled a bit against Notre Dame, is really, recognizing that it wasn't a pass, it's a run. Now you got to get off that block. I know the wide receiver's blocking you downfield. Get off that. Try to make a tackle on the back, man. But other than that, I think safety play has been pretty solid. And this is an offense that doesn't quite scare me, man, as well as far as, we just got to be consistent, man, stop the run. And that's really what it's going to come down to, man. Be consistent, stop the run, play smart. Hopefully we can win the turnover battle. That's going to be huge as well. But let me really truly get into the light keys for USC coming out with the victory against Nebraska on Saturday night. All right, let's get to the light keys, man. USC currently giving up 136 yards per game and 4 yards per carry. This cannot happen on Saturday nights. And, man, if I got a wish list, man, I don't know. Can we hold them to under? I said 130 for the Notre Dame game. Clearly, that was a joke. That was like 300 yards. Can we hold this team to under 120 yards on the ground? I think that's possible if the offense gets cooking, even though I do know that our offense struggles a bit more on the road than they do at home. But for God's sake, man, I've watched this Nebraska defense against Michigan. I watched my twin Preston Stone at Northwestern go up and dot in wide receivers against them in their previous game. And I truly believe if Northwestern can do that and make some plays through the air, then USC should have no problem this Saturday, getting some things going through the air against Nebraska, man. I think we have two of the top wide receivers in the country, no doubt about it. I think we definitely got two of the top 8, top 10 wide receivers in the country. And we got one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the country, in my personal opinion, and Jada Maava. Now, balance, another big key. We got to have a balance. We saw what happened against Notre Dame. When this offense is not balanced, it will not work, no matter how talented we have the guys going outside. We are 6th in the entire country when, running the ball between the tackles, and 2nd in the entire country with yards after contact between the tackles, man. So we got to get that run game going. I would like to see more from my guy, Brian Jackson, man. Hopefully he's healthy now. I think you don't want to put the load so heavy on King Miller. Obviously, he had looked, very spectacular, prior to that Notre Dame game on the ground. Didn't look like he could be stopped or slowed down. Obviously, you went against a pretty elite front with Notre Dame, and wasn't able to have the success that we saw him have, against Michigan or in those previous games. So I think having Brian Jackson, take on a lot of those carries as well, kind of balance things throughout, balance things between those two guys, and hopefully that run game can get going, right? So big key for me with that aspect. Defensively, I don't even know if you could really call this a key, but I'm going to be honest with you. I will be very concerned if I see 3-man fronts. I will be very concerned if I see 2 linebackers in there. And I want to see 4 threes at all times. I want to see 3 linebackers at all times. That is what I want to see. If I don't see that, I'm going to be concerned. I'm going to feel like we're not going to be able to stop the run. And I'm truly going to feel like we're probably going to lose the game if I don't see that happening. And people may say, well, you can't do that because, the wide receivers are going to eat you alive and whatnot. I don't care. I talked about the depth of target, it being only 7 yards. USC has, 21 in coverage grade, according to PFF. With the safety play that we have back there, I got a lot of faith in those guys. I'd rather a team beat us through the air than on the ground. I would like to see it happen because we haven't seen it happen. In our losses, we have not seen a team beat us through the air to a victory. We've only seen teams beat us on the ground and win games against us. So, hey, try to beat us through the air with Dylan Raiola. I would love to see it. I'd rather them have 300-plus passing yards trying to beat us through the air with our safety play and our corner play, which has been, a lot more consistent as of late, than to beat us on the ground, because I personally can't take it anymore. And yeah, man, I think we're going to cook. I think we win this game on the road. The prediction I got USC winning this game 34-21 on the road in Lincoln, Nebraska, man. And I think we cook and I think we make it happen. I think we get a big time win here, on the path to hopefully, winning out and going into that big time matchup in Eugene, Oregon against the Ducks later on in the season, man. So that is the preview. That is a prediction. I appreciate you guys sticking with me, man. I know this preview came out a little later than usual. Usually I put these out on Wednesdays, but got a lot of family stuff going on, man. I've been very busy, so I'm just trying to take care of everything. And if anybody that watched this video, I know it's Thursday, man. The game's in a couple days. If you need a ticket to a game, please DM me on Instagram. Thanks for Preston, ThanksForPreston on Instagram, or tweet at me on Twitter, Fight on Preston. Then we can get into the DMs. I have a ticket because I have a ticket to this game, a great ticket. It is on the Nebraska side, but it is a great ticket. I think row 5 or something like that. I paid over $200 for the ticket. I will give you a good deal. I don't even got to make my money back at this time. But if you need a ticket, hit me up, man. Fight on, everybody. Appreciate you guys, man. Have a good day. We're going to get after. We're going to keep it rolling. Thanks for watching the videos. Like the video if you enjoy the content. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoy what I'm doing over here. Thank you, guys. Let's keep going. Let's get it.